Welcome to another episode of What's Up with Wendy. He's known as the Sandwich King, host of the hit show The Kitchen. Jeff Mauro is joining me, and I did ask him a very controversial question. Is a hot dog a sandwich? And wait till you hear what he had to say. You won't want to miss this interview. He is known as the Sandwich King, host of the hit show The Kitchen, Food Network star. Welcome to my show, Jeff Mauro.
Hello, Wendy. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so you're some of my friends' favorite persons. Everyone loves you.
We'll keep going. Don't stop now. I'm ready.
Oh, God.
Thank God. Hey, I'm trying. I just, I love my job. I'm blessed and lucky, and it's great that even during these strange times, I'm able to still connect with people, to people through food. So it's a blessing. Tell your friends I said hello.
Okay, I'll let them know. Speaking of these strange times, how is your business affected, and how are you doing?
We are busier than ever here at the Mauro house. I mean, our home has turned into a pretty much full-time television studio, cooking studio. We are shooting our show, The Kitchen, from our house every week, using a very talented but non-union amateur crew consisting of my wife, who's a nurse, and my 11-year-old son, who's a pain in the butt. So you look at all those parameters, it's a miracle we're pulling off an entire internationally aired show using nothing but telephones and amateurs. So I'm tired.
Do you have that special glow lighting too? I mean, isn't it amazing how this has turned everyone's home into like their studio, their office, their everything?
I mean, everybody's like, I should have gotten in the egg business. I should have gotten in the mask business. No, I think the business you should have gotten in, cheap $20 ring lights on Amazon, right? Because that's what everybody's buying. Because you're still looking at some of these professional productions out there, and the lighting is abysmal. I got good lights now because I'm finicky about it, and I want to strive to look the best on camera, but there's a lot to learn, and you understand why. On set of The Kitchen, and we shoot in Jersey, we have 80 people on our crew, and they're all longtime professionals who are at the top of their game, and you understand why it takes a village to make this show, because it is not easy with a small group of, civilians, if you will.
Amazing. Just amazing. So I'm not the greatest cook. I'll just say it right there. My kids are home from college, so I've become a great cook, or a good cook, I would say. It's working, like I'm learning. So that's something that I've taken from this, as well as the quality time with the kids. Just crazy, you just figure it out.
It's so true, and it all starts with a good recipe and quality ingredients. So when I partnered up with Eggland's Best in providing you guys a great recipe, and I know we all love cracking a beautiful Eggland's Best eggs, letting it cook gently sunny side up in a roasted portobello served over, a bed of crisp romaine greens and, lemony dressing and funky Asiago, and you knife and fork it. It's a super easy to do recipe that your college-age kids can definitely execute. That'll make you feel good,
Yeah. So when did your love of cooking start for you?
Well, when I come from a big, both in size and numbers, Italian-American family, that was obsessed with food from a very young age. It was the epicenter of everything we did in our home, whether it was a celebration or, a wake or a funeral. You know what I mean? We're always surrounded by food. And I just saw the power of food as not only something that, gratifies your hunger, but also it's a performance, right? I've always been a performer, comedian, improviser, stand-up. In the kitchen's a stage. In watching people chew and smile and be satiated is, to me, just as good as laughter.
Agree, 100%. Do you remember the first thing that you cooked?
Oh, my God, yeah. It was I remember in the kitchen, we grew up, scrambling a lot of eggs. And to us, that was, the most, when you cook with your kids now, you see their faces and watch them crack their first egg and successfully scramble that egg in a pan. It's like magic just happened, right? You transform this ingredient that we all know and love, that we grew up seeing, that is like, the epitome of life itself, right? An egg. And see it transform. Like, I remember I did it for my mom, and it was me and my 3 siblings, and we made her Mother's Day brunch. I was probably 6 years old. I think we tried our best, and we made our family frittata for her collectively.
Right.
And whether or not the product was edible, even delicious, or, not burnt, I think what I remember most about it was just, the eggshells everywhere, like most kids,
Yes.
we weren't cleaning while we cooked.
Right.
It's the, number one rule in the kitchen. But you know what? She loved it. We served it to her in bed, and it was a moment. I'm sure, she ate it out of kindness to not hurt our feelings. But that memory is so deep in my memory, and that's why I partnered with Eggland's Best, because we're looking for that next best family recipe. Not only for a chance to provide that recipe to the world and to America, but also for a chance to win $10,000. And you can enter at americasbestrecipe.com.
I love
24th. See the rules. Yeah.
We'll plug all that. If you just tune in, I'm talking to the host of the hit show, The Kitchen, Jeff Mauro. All right, what was it like to win and become the Food Network star of season 7? I mean, that must have been an aha moment for you.
Well, you know what? It was a long journey. It was my 4th try. Now, this was 9 years ago that I won. So, I mean, luckily I sustained my job. I haven't retired yet, so I'm doing something right, thank God. But it was not an overnight sensation. It wasn't. It was a long journey, 15-year journey there. It was my 4th audition for Food Network star by the time I got cast in the show, let alone win it. And it's difficult, I mean, reality shows where you live in a house with 14 strangers and compete and are isolated and quarantined and have no quarantine. Look at me using that word in a different sense.
Right.
Train me for these days. I mean, you're talking about 2.5 months not only with very, very limited contact with your family. I'm talking a 1 10-minute phone call a week, coupled with no books, no music, no movies, no television, no nothing outside the conversation with your housemates and the competition. And
wow.
It was, it's trying, but it's a very hard job interview, but it was one I would do all over again for a chance to have, this career in life. So
amazing.
I look at it fondly, but it's unique. It's a unique path to stardom. I tried it the old-fashioned way. It didn't work.
I get it. Okay, your hit show, The Kitchen. You guys all work so well together. There's so much chemistry. I mean, that must be even more fun to go to work with every day.
I love it. We're 24 seasons in. We've been doing it over 6 years.
Isn't that amazing?
So we've grown together. You start off, you think you know everything, and you're like, oh, I'm a funny guy. I could just make zingers every once in a while, but it's dynamic. It's always changing, and we're always learning from each other. And I think it's what translates to screen and resonates with people out there the most is that we genuinely like each other.
You can tell.
And it's, if you guys could see the outtakes and the gag reel of us breaking and not being able to shoot, I'm not going to say it's more entertaining than the actual show, but to us, it's capturing these moments. And luckily we have a great production company that every year when we celebrate, the next year, they cut together these blooper reels that are just so funny. And I hope one day they'll release it so you guys can see it. But, that just shows it's like, I don't know, we're actually having fun and laughing to the point where it's like, costing the production money sometimes.
I'm sure.
We can't keep a straight face.
But you know what?
And another attribute is like, we all have different cooking sensibilities, and it's, there's a pony for everybody. You could think I'm, whatever, obnoxious. You think one of us is, but at the end of the day, it's like a family, right? We get along, we have our moments, but, at the end of the day, there's a ton of love there.
You can totally tell. When are you and Sonny Anderson getting your own show?
I don't know. You know what? I would make a show with her and Harvey, and we've talked about it so many times. And it's just a matter. It's hard to get a TV show on the air.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Well, listen, now you can do, Zoom there's so many opportunities now, I think, for people. Who knows what's going to happen, in the future with everything going on. Okay, this is my very controversial question I have to ask you. You ready?
Oh, man. All right, hit me.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
You know what I'm going to do? I knew that was coming, Wendy. It's my number one. Should I give you? Okay? You want to? Can I read you my poem I wrote?
Please.
My book coming out next year.
I'm honored.
I've never done this publicly, but you're getting the scoop here.
Okay.
Well, I got to find it for you. Okay, so you just hang tight. But I promise you, it will be worth it because it's on a shared drive. But I got it right here because this is by far the number one question I received, which it's crazy how it's like. I mean, you think politics in, bipartisanship is polarizing this country? No. It's answering the question, is a hot dog a sandwich? All right, here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? A poem, and not poem, a poem, Wendy, by Jeff Mauro. Are you a sandwich? Sure, why not? Or better yet, maybe so. But you're in between some bread, and I can eat you on the go. Topped with onions, peppers, relish, and very generous smears of muddled ballpark mustard and a side of 6 light beers. Served on buns steamed into pillowy clouds of wheat, your natural intestinal casing snapping between my teeth. When you're served wrapped in paper with piles of skin on fries, perfection is achieved, each new bite a tremendous surprise. But are you a sandwich? Why must we choose? Who gives a flying frank? To me, you're not even food. You're as emblematic as Betsy's fine flag, as Americana as peanuts in a bag, while watching baseballs fly deep, so deep, out of bounds, in fighter jet sonic boom above sold-out Super Bowl crowds. So is a hot dog a sandwich? It's not my place to say. In fact, it's no one's natural born right to try to make that claim. The discussion must be over, sandwich or not, for a hot dog is perfection. And that, my friend, is all we got.
I love it. That's great.
Don't cry. Are you sniffling? Are you crying, Wendy?
I'm laughing so hard I'm tearing up. I was trying not to clog the phone. Jeff, that was great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just saying I don't think a hot dog's a sandwich, but whatever. We'll move on.
Okay. See, you got why must we choose? I know.
Oh, he's known as the Sandwich King. His hit show, The Kitchen, we all love him. All right, what's your guilty pleasure, Jeff?
Oh, man, barbecue potato chips.
Yum.
All day. I love that. I love barbecue potato chips. I love them on sandwiches, everything. I crumple them on salads. I crumple them. It's barbecue. I'm talking like barbecue potato chips.
Yum.
Especially kettle chips, yeah.
Okay.
Crumple one on a go on an egg sandwich in the morning. You're not supposed to eat chips in the morning, but on a nice egg sandwich on a soft roll with American cheese, you put the barbecue potato chips on top right before biting. So when you do the bite down, you get the crunch of the chips, the softness, the yolk streaming out of the egg, and the creaminess from the American cheese. Oh, man.
Oh my!
Man, I know what I'm having for lunch and dinner.
Oh my! So am I now. We're having it together. Okay.
Amen. We'll do it over. We'll do it over Zoom one day.
Let's do it. My kids, your wife, your son. It's all good. I'll have to invite my friend Ida, who's obsessed with you. Okay. One of my last questions. We probably all of us, a dish that you would never order, that you'd never cook, that you would like to order out.
A dish I would never cook sushi, right? I leave that to the pros that have been training for a decade, you know?
I say pizza.
Oh, really? I love making pizza. Go to my Instagram and see all the pizzas I've been making, especially during quarantine. I love making pizza. There's something, romantic and celebratory about that, the delivery of the pizza to your home, the opening of the box and the digging in. I'm all about that too.
I agree. Well, listen, I'm following you because you're